Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutation to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, I want to go into this lesson. It was something I was meditating on earlier in the day, going into a cheerleader and how I came about. Really, it's going more so into the woman and a part of their role as being supportive, for their man. Like women or wives are really supposed to be like cheerleaders. They're supposed to be cheerleaders for their husbands, in the sense of this definition, though, And I got cheerleader meaning in a relationship. And we seen that, many times, or women being cheerleaders for men in general, but especially women being cheerleaders for their husbands. This is how they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be on his side, chanting and encouraging him along the way. So it says in a relationship, cheerleader means being a supportive and enthusiastic advocate for your partner, actively encouraging their goals and dreams and celebrating their success. And we don't see the American woman do this, especially the so-called black woman. They're not taught to be this way. And I had thought about it, because I was thinking like, these past few weeks or days, I say, I've been doing, a lot of videos mentioning and including the woman, especially the so-called black woman. But I had to think, because I didn't want to just make sure I just start, just doing a whole lot of videos just on the woman. But then it occurred to me later on in the day after I came, after this topic came to me. I ain't gonna say I came up with it, but after this topic came to me, that it's probably a lot of women, or maybe a couple women, even if it's just one, that watch these videos or watch this, that's of the elect, and they, need to understand this concept too, So that's why I'm going into it. But like I said, it goes beyond simple encouragement and involves actively believing in their potential, even when they doubt themselves. Now, here's a more detailed breakdown. It says active support. A cheerleader doesn't just offer passive support. They actively participate in their partner's journey, offering encouragement, motivation, and a positive outlook. Believing in potential. A cheerleader sees the best in their partner and encourages them to pursue their goals, even if their goals seem daunting or challenging. And the women of old were built like this, They were built more like this. But the women of today, they're not like this, And the scriptures even talk about a woman that's like this, It doesn't call her a cheerleader, but it goes into the attributes of a woman being supportive, for her husband, rather than the standard. Because that's really what you would get over here in Babylon the Great. You might find a woman and she might be, she might be cool and she just be on your side, which that situation is cool. But really how women are supposed to be, they're supposed to be encouraging a man. And women nowadays, they'll be more so focused on their goals and what they have going on, that they feel as though it's more important than their man. Because at the end of the day, a lot of women are losing their jobs. A lot of women are getting laid off, and they got to figure out what they're going to do, especially if they don't have a man, But the man, he's built for this type of life. He's built for that, He has all the attributes to help him survive those type of situations. So it says celebrating success. A cheerleader is still there to celebrate both big and small victories, providing a boost of confidence and affirmation. Navigating setbacks. A cheerleader provides emotional support during difficult times, helping their partner bounce back from setbacks and maintain a positive mindset. Advocacy. A cheerleader acts as their partner's biggest advocate, believing in their abilities and helping them to achieve their full potential. Man, if we had women like this, ain't no telling, in this current situation, telling what will be done in this kingdom, If we still had that family structure and had women like that was built with this mindset, just in mass versus it being a blessing from Yahweh. Well, not a blessing, it's a blessing, but what I meant was rather it being a rare thing that Yahweh Shai have to send to you. Ain't no telling what we'd have been undone. It says, essentially, a cheerleader is a partner who fosters a positive and encouraging environment, empowering their significant other to strive to their dreams and reach their full potential. So now let me get a couple scriptures. I'm going to get some in the pocket for two. And I'm going to start off with, what is it? Sirach chapter 20, is it 26? Yeah. Blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled. A virtuous wife shall rejoice of her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. Right, see, there it is. A virtuous wife rejoices of her husband. She makes him extremely happy. She's on his side. She encourages, supports him, and provides an environment for that nurturing spirit of a woman, that feminine nurturing spirit to help him pursue everything that he needs to do. Because what these women don't understand is that a man will, he'll put his life on the line for his wife and his family. He'll do it, he'll try to build a woman for build a world for the woman, and not in no woman worship type ordeal or nothing like that, but in the sense of we was built. And, we had that connection. We had that desire for the woman to provide for them. That's natural. Like the man desires the woman desires the man. So with a man desiring the woman, he desires to do the things to make sure that she's okay. Make sure she's safe, provided for, taken care of, stable, so on and so forth. But the man would do that for a woman. He will be more than happy to do that for a woman that has this type of mindset. It says, a virtuous woman rejoices of her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. And even like it said, the number of his days shall be double. Yeah, because a lot of women, a bad wife or an evil wife, she will cause stress on that man. That man, his lifespan can decrease just off of her, just because of her driving him crazy, driving him sick, and she can decrease his life just off of all that bad and negative energy. It says, a good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear Yahweh Shai. So these type of women will come back. And these type of women, some of them are already being built. But ultimately, we're going to get it all in the kingdom. We're going to get this type of women with this mindset. And like we was reading, that type of mindset in the kingdom of heaven. That's where it's going to be the most effective at. It says, whether a man be rich or poor, I'm finished reading, but it's not a point. The point, if he have a good heart towards the Lord, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. And see, even cheerful or cheer is all throughout the scriptures. But just sticking more so to the woman. Now, let's get let's see. This is 1 Samuel chapter 18. I'm going to start at verse 5 in the AMP. So David went out wherever Saul sent him, and he acted wisely and prospered. And Saul appointed him over the men of war, and it pleased all the people and also Saul's servants. And as they were coming home, when David returned from killing the Philistine, the women came out of all the cities of Israel, singing and dancing to meet King Saul with tambourines, songs of joy, and musical instruments. So they were happy. This is a victory, like it said right here. Celebrating success. A cheerleader is there to celebrate both big and small victories, providing a boost of confidence and affirmation. And best believe these men and wives did the same thing. And they was extremely happy And thank you, how about Shem Abashah, that their husbands came back home. So it says the women sang as they played and danced, saying, Saul has slain his thousands and David his 10,000s. Then Saul became very angry, for the saying displeased him. And he said, they have ascribed to David 10,000s, but to me they have only ascribed thousands. Now what more can he have but the kingdom? So Saul was jealous, and he was jealous that the women was like, they out here talking about he did more than me. He got more bodies than me. You know, he got a greater name than me, and I'm the king. The only thing left for him to take is the kingdom itself. So Saul was jealous. You know. But that's why he was angry. But like I said, the women, they came out and they cheered and celebrated with the men, you know, and supported, you know, they were supporting their men. Let me get another one. I can't remember his name. Let me see. Okay, here we go. This is Judges chapter 11. Starting at verse 29. AMP. Then the Spirit of the Lord came unto Jephthah, and he passed through Gilead and Manasseh and Mizpah of Gilead, and from Mizpah of Gilead he passed on to the Ammonites. Jephthah made a vow to the Lord and said, if you will indeed give the Ammonites into my hand, then whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the Ammonites, it shall be the Lord's, and I will offer it up as a burnt offering. So now we know he went over and he destroyed them. So now this is verse 34. Then Jephthah came to his house at Mizpah, and this is what he saw. His daughter coming out to meet him with tabourines and with dancing, as she was his only child. Except for her, he had no son or daughter. Right. So it says she came out dancing with tambourines. She was happy her father came back, and he won. That was a victory, you know. And at this time she wasn't married. So the only man that, you know, she can do this for is her father. You know, and I'm gonna jump down. This is verse 37. It says, and she said to her father, let this one thing be done for me. Let me alone for 2 months, so that I may go to the mountains and weep over my virginity, the tragedy that marriage and children would be denied to her, I and my companions. Right. So, like I said, she never got married and she never had children. And that weighed on her, you know. But the point being, that's why she did it for her father. But if she had a husband, and her husband was at war, she would have done it for her husband. Now let's get Proverbs chapter 31. Let's see. Starting at verse 10. AMP. It says, an excellent woman, one who is spiritual, capable, intelligent, and virtuous. Who is he who can find her? Her value, well, women can't handle being rejected. Her value is more precious than jewels, and her worth is far above rubies or pearls. The heart of her husband trusts in her with secure confidence, and he will have no lack of gain. She comforts, encourages, and does him only good and not evil all the days of her life. Right, so there it is. She comforts and encourages, and that's some of the things that we read. Going back to what it say, in a relationship, cheerleader means being a supportive and enthusiastic advocate for your partner, actively encouraging them, their goals and dreams, and celebrating their success. It goes beyond simple encouragement and involves actively believing in their potential, even when they doubt themselves. This is just characteristics of a virtuous woman. And like I said, active support. A cheerleader doesn't just offer passive support, there's active participant. They actively participate in their partner's journey, offering encouragement, motivation, and a positive outlook. All of this is going into the virtuous woman. You know, like I said, she comforts, encourages, and does him only good and not evil all the days of her life. Uh, and all of this is good. I'm just trying to get some of the main points of it. All of this is good though. As a matter of fact, let me see. It's another one. Let's see. Let's see. Is it Ephesians? Probably not. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm gonna start at verse 5. 1 Peter 3 and 5. All of this is good. Like I said, I just want to hit the points, A and P. For in this way, in former times, the holy women who hoped in the Most High used to adorn themselves, being submissive to their own husbands and adapting themselves to them. And what does it mean, adapting themselves to them? That means they conformed into the ways of their husband. Well, however their husband liked things, however he wanted things, however, they learned their husbands to the T. You have women that do that to this day. They know their husband's routine, or they know their man's routine. He might like to come home, get his shoes out, get a shower first before he eat. Then after he get a shower, he like to eat. She'll have his plate ready. He might want to drink something. He might, want to drink with his food. So as soon as he get out the shower, get himself together, he sit down, she bring him his food. She give him his plate. Give him his plate, give him something to drink, turn the TV on for him. He sit and then they sit down and eat together. He might want to eat with her, or whatever the case may be. After they get done eating, she take the plate, wash the dishes, clean up the kitchen or whatever. He might, and whatever else he might like to do. He might like to go to sleep at a certain time, so she get everything in order and situated and shut down the house. And instead of her just being up all night, unless, she just has something to do or she just not tired at that moment, she go to sleep with her husband. And, whatever the case may be, they adapt themselves to their husbands. Not a man changing his whole way for his wife, And when I say it like that, I mean not a man making the schedule based off of what his wife likes. It's the other way around. The wife making the schedule based off of what her husband likes. So just continuing on, just as Sarah obeys Abraham, following him and having regard for him as head of their house, and like I said, following him. A part of let's get the definition for following. Following. It says a body of supporters or admirers. Like it said, being a cheerleader, being a supportive and enthusiastic advocate for your partner, actively encouraging their goals and dreams and celebrating their success. Matter of fact, I need to read verse 1. Let me read verse 1 and then jump back down to 6. This 1 Peter 3 and 1 in the AMP. In the same way, wives, be submissive. And I'm going to get, matter of fact, I might not, let's see what the footnotes say. There are both military and sporting analogies associated with the meaning of the word submit. It can refer to the act of falling in line. An example, each soldier reporting to its proper place, or each team member respecting how the team works, acknowledging and participating in his assigned position. Right. Women being in a woman's role, so the man being in a man's role, and women. I said women because it's multiple wives. It's not only just that's why they say wives, because sometimes it's all women. What was I doing? Submissive, ready to conform to the authority or will of others, meekly obedient or passive. Right. Subordinate, not as inferior, but out of respect for for the responsibilities entrusted to to the husband and their accountability to the Most High, and so partnering with them, so that even if some do not obey the word of the Most High, they may be won over to Yahweh Shah without discussion by the godly lives of the wives. Now jumping back down to verse 6. Just as Sarah obeyed Abraham, following him and having regard to him as the head of their house, calling him Lord, and you have become her daughter if you do what is right without being frightened by fear. That is, being respectful toward your husband, but not giving into the intimidation, nor allowing yourself to be led into sin, nor to be harmed. Right. So, like I said, Sarah had that virtuous mindset. She understood that Abraham was a man of Yahweh Shema Shah, called to do a very special work, and was blessed. And she fell in line, and she was supportive of everything he had going on, everything he had to do. She was supportive. I'm gonna get one more precept. Like it. This is Genesis 18 and 5 and 6 in the AMP. Well, 4, starting at 4. It says, matter of fact, 3. And Abraham said, my Lord, he talking to Yahweh Shai and the angels. Let's see. At some point during this encounter, Abraham understood that one of the 3 men was actually the Most High appearing as a man, which is talking about Yahweh Shai, or as an angel. And he addressed him as such in verse 14. Verse 13 confirms that it was the Lord who spoke to him. The other 2 men were angels. So it's actually Yahweh Shai. And Abraham said, my Lord, if now I have found favor in your sight, please do not pass by your servant without stopping to visit. Please let a little water be brought by one of my servants, and you may wash your feet and recline and rest comfortably under the tree. And I will bring a piece of bread to refresh and sustain you. After that, you may go on, since you have come to your servant. And they replied, do as you have said. So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah and said, quickly, get ready 3 measures of fine meal, kneaded and baked cakes. And she did exactly what he told her to do. Let's see. She did exactly what he told her to do. And she was supportive of it. She understood that he came in there telling her something urgent, and he had something going on. And she probably even heard him talking to him. Ain't no telling. We don't know how everything was set up, but it's not far-fetched that she probably knew that he had visitors, and she was supportive of what Abraham had going on. So in the same way, that's the mindset of how women are supposed to be towards their man, towards their husbands, having a cheerleader mindset, So I'm gonna just read a little bit of this. I seen something that looked interesting, if I can find it. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can find what I was looking for. I don't even know where it's at now. Okay, here it is. What are the benefits? This is from the Say that everygirl.com under, what's the title of it? Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are both playing a game-changing relationship role. Now, going back to what are the benefits, it says being a cheerleader does more than make the other person feel good and can help build each partner's confidence in themselves, each other, and the relationship, says Marks. Basically, she explains that having someone who wants to cheer for you is incredible validation that you're supported in whatever it is you're working toward, no matter the outcome. And what comes with that is the feeling of knowing you chose the right person. Right. In times of challenges, it helps the partner facing difficulties to feel understood, valued, and less alone in their struggles, ultimately deepening trust and intimacy, says Sachs. And in times of success, shared joy and accomplishment creates an atmosphere of mutual celebration, reinforcing feelings of love and connection, she adds. Additionally, since your partner needs to know what they're cheering for to be decent at it, your relationship requires an increased sense of openness, active listening, and understanding of one another. Going back into the woman adjusts to the man, as it said in 1 Peter 3. For example, if you are having a disagreement with a friend, opening up to your partner about what's going on will help them understand what you are going through. If you then communicate your feelings, how are they supposed to know how to show up for you? Honesty and vulnerability in a relationship open the door for a deeper level of support and ultimately strengthen your bond. And you can't be vulnerable with these women. You know, you start to tell them your business, and they'll use it against you, because these women don't have this mindset over here in Babylon the Great. But for the women, and the very few women that probably come across this video, this is how you're supposed to be for your man. This is what Yahweh Shem Abishai wants you to. He wants you to have. This is how he created you to be. You know, I'm gonna end it on that, since I said that. Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. Now the Lord said, it is not good, beneficial for the man to be alone. I will make him a helper, one who balances him, a counterpart who is suitable, complementary for him. AKA what it was supposed to be, a virtuous woman, you know? And this is what Yahweh Shem Abishai created for Adam, up until she was beguiled by the serpent and went off. But this is how women are supposed to be. And this is the mindset you're supposed to strive to have, you know? And it takes time. It takes time to build up to it and to get there. But as long as you're striving for it, you know, Yahweh Shem Abishai help you along the journey. So, Lord wills, the edifying lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutation to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth.